The comment came during what was supposed to be a celebration dinner at the Grandview, the upscale restaurant where our family gathered for important occasions. My daughter Emma, 12 years old and painfully shy, had been excited all week. She'd carefully chosen her navy dress, the one with small flowers embroidered on the collar. She'd even asked me to help curl her hair. My sister Jennifer sat across from us, her twin boys flanking her like bodyguards. Her husband Mark was scrolling through his phone, barely paying attention. Mom and Dad anchored the ends of the table, already looking uncomfortable as Jennifer launched into her usual routine. "I'm just saying," Jennifer continued, her voice carrying across the white tablecloth, "some people know how to work a room and others just don't." She gestured vaguely in Emma's direction. "It's like bringing a rain cloud to a beach party." Emma's fork clattered against her plate. I watched her shoulders curl inward, her carefully styled hair falling forward to hide her face. She'd been nervous about this dinner all week, worried about saying the wrong thing, wearing the wrong outfit, being too quiet or too loud. And Jennifer had just confirmed every fear. "Jennifer," I said quietly, my hand finding Emma's under the table. "That's enough." "What?" "I'm just being honest." Jennifer picked up her wine glass, examining it against the light. "The twins were saying just yesterday how awkward their cousin is at parties. They said she just sits in corners and makes everyone uncomfortable." I felt Emma's hand trembling in mine. The twins, ages 14, were currently absorbed in their phones, probably not even listening to their mother weaponize their names. "Funny," I said, keeping my voice level. "Because last month Tyler specifically asked if Emma could come to his basketball tournament. And Jason invited her to his birthday party, remember? The one where she helped organize games for the younger kids." Jennifer's smile tightened. "Being polite isn't the same as actually wanting someone there." "Not now," Mom whispered urgently, her eyes darting between us. "Let's just enjoy dinner." But something in me snapped, not with anger but with clarity. I'd spent years watching Jennifer diminish Emma, making snide comments about her quietness, her love of books, her preference for small gatherings over large parties. I'd bitten my tongue at countless family events, telling Emma that Aunt Jennifer was just joking, that she didn't mean it. But the trembling hand in mine told a different story. And I was done pretending. "Actually, Mom, let's talk about this," I said. I turned to Jennifer. "You say Emma makes parties uncomfortable. Tell me, which parties are we talking about?" Jennifer rolled her eyes. "All of them. She barely talks, she doesn't mingle, she just sits there judging everyone." "She's 12, I said. "And she's introverted. That's not a character flaw. It's called being antisocial," Jennifer shot back. "Maybe if you actually pushed her to be more outgoing instead of coddling her. Like you push your boys?" The words came out before I could stop them. "The ones who are currently on their phones instead of participating in this family dinner?" Mark looked up briefly, then back down at his screen. The twins didn't even react. Jennifer's face flushed. "My boys are confident. They don't need constant hand-holding." "Right," I said. "Is that why Tyler calls me twice a week asking for help with his homework? Or why Jason spent 2 hours crying at my house last month because he said you never listened to him?" The table went silent. Even Dad, who usually stayed out of family drama, looked up from his meal. "That's different," Jennifer said, but her voice had lost some of its edge. "Boys are more independent." "They're not independent, Jennifer. They're neglected." I hadn't meant to say it, but there it was, hanging in the air between us. "You're so busy criticizing Emma for being quiet that you don't notice your own kids are desperate for attention. How dare you?" "Last month," I continued, "when you hosted that big 4th of July party, who do you think helped set up? Who spent 3 hours in your kitchen preparing food while you posed for Instagram photos?" Jennifer's mouth opened, then closed. "Emma did," I said. "She made fruit platters, organized the dessert table, and helped your mother-in-law who couldn't reach the top shelves. She did it quietly without asking for credit because that's who she is. She helps people." I felt Emma's hand squeeze mine just slightly. "And that basketball tournament where you said Tyler was being polite inviting her? He asked her specifically because she's the only family member who actually watches his games and remembers the plays he tells her about. Not you. Not Mark. Emma." Mark had the decency to look uncomfortable, setting his phone down. "The birthday party?" I went on. "Jason told me he invited her because she's the only cousin who doesn't make fun of him for liking art. She spent an hour helping him paint miniature figures because she knew he was excited about his new hobby, and you'd called it a waste of time. I never, Jennifer started. You called it playing with dolls in front of his friends, I said. He told me. He tells me a lot of things, Jennifer. Because I listen. The waiter appeared, clearly sensing the tension, and quickly retreated without taking our order. Mom cleared her throat. Maybe we should. No, Mom, I said gently. We shouldn't just move past this. Emma deserves better than being insulted at family dinners. She deserves to know that being kind and quiet isn't a flaw. That helping others without seeking attention is actually a strength. I turned to Emma, who was looking at me with wide eyes. And you need to know something, sweetheart. The people who matter, the people worth your time, they see your value. Your cousins call you when they need help with homework, when they're upset, when they need someone who won't judge them. That's not making parties feel like funerals. That's being trustworthy. Emma's eyes filled with tears, but she was smiling slightly. Jennifer sat rigid in her chair, her wine glass frozen halfway to her lips. I was just joking, she said finally, her voice small. You know how I am. I do know how you are, I said. That's the problem. And I'm done pretending your jokes are harmless when they hurt my daughter. Dad finally spoke, his voice measured. Jennifer apologized to Emma. Dad. Now. Jennifer looked around the table, finding no support. Even her own sons had put down their phones, watching her with expressions I couldn't quite read. I'm sorry, Emma, she said stiffly. I didn't mean to upset you. It wasn't a real apology and we all knew it. But Emma nodded, accepting it with more grace than Jennifer deserved. The rest of dinner passed in uncomfortable silence. Orders were placed and eaten mechanically. Mom tried several times to start neutral conversations that died within seconds. Dad focused intensely on his steak. As we were leaving, Tyler approached Emma hesitantly. Hey, I have another tournament next Saturday. Would you want to come? Emma glanced at me, then back at Tyler. Sure, she said quietly. I'd like that. Jason appeared beside his brother. And I'm doing an art show at school next month. For the advanced art class. Would you come to that too? Both of those sound great, Emma said, and I could hear the genuine happiness in her voice. Jennifer watched this exchange from near the door, her face unreadable. As we walked to our cars, she caught my arm. I really was joking, she said. You know I love Emma. Do I? I asked. Because love isn't just a word, Jennifer. It's action. It's paying attention. It's building someone up instead of tearing them down for laughs. She's just so different from my boys. That's not a bad thing, I interrupted. Different doesn't mean less. And quiet doesn't mean empty. Emma has more emotional intelligence at 12 than most adults I know. Your boys see it. They gravitate toward her because she offers them something you don't. Genuine attention and acceptance. Jennifer's eyes glistened. I'm trying my best. Then try better, I said, not unkindly. Because your best right now is hurting people, both my daughter and your own sons. I didn't wait for her response. Emma and I walked to our car in silence. Once inside, she turned to me. Mom, thank you for standing up for me. Always, I said, pulling her into a hug. I should have done it sooner. I'm sorry I didn't. It's okay, she said into my shoulder. I know family stuff is complicated. We drove home in comfortable quiet, the kind that only comes when you've said everything that needs saying. When we pulled into our driveway, Emma's phone buzzed. She checked it and smiled. Tyler says his mom is making him apologize too, but he wants me to know he meant what he said about the tournament. He really does want me there. Will you go? I asked. Yeah, Emma said. I like watching him play. He's actually really good and nobody ever tells him that. That night after Emma went to bed, I sat in the kitchen thinking about the dinner. About Jennifer's cruelty disguised as humor. About my own complicity in letting it continue for so long. About the relief I'd felt finally saying what needed to be said. My phone buzzed. A text from Jennifer. I'm sorry. Really sorry. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I typed back. Not yet. But maybe someday. When you're ready to actually listen. Her response came quickly. I understand. I didn't know if she really did. But I knew something had shifted. Emma had spent years absorbing Jennifer's comments, internalizing them, believing that her quietness was something to fix. But tonight she'd heard a different message, that she was exactly who she needed to be. The next morning, Emma came downstairs wearing jeans and her favorite t-shirt, the one with constellations printed on it. "I'm going to the library," she announced. "There's a book club meeting this afternoon." "Sounds good," I said. "Have fun." He paused at the door. "Mom, do you think Aunt Jennifer will ever understand why what she said was so wrong?" I considered the question carefully. "I don't know, sweetheart. Some people have a hard time seeing how their words affect others. But that's not your responsibility to fix." Emma nodded, processing this. "The twins texted me this morning. They said they're sorry their mom is mean sometimes." "That's big of them to say." "Yeah," Emma said. "I told them it's not their fault. They said they know what it's like when she criticizes them too. Tyler said she tells him he's too sensitive all the time, and Jason said she gets mad when he doesn't want to play sports." My heart ached for those boys, trapped in Jennifer's narrow vision of who they should be. "You're a good cousin," I said. Emma shrugged, but she was smiling. "I just try to be nice. It's not that hard." After she left, I sat with my coffee thinking about how simple it really was, being nice, paying attention, lifting people up instead of tearing them down. Emma understood it instinctively. Jennifer still hadn't learned it. My phone rang. Mom's name flashed on the screen. "Hi, Mom," I answered. "I wanted to apologize," she said immediately. "I should have said something to Jennifer years ago. I've watched her belittle Emma at every family gathering, and I always told myself it was just sisterly teasing. But it wasn't. It was cruel." "Thank you for saying that," I said. "Emma is a wonderful girl," Mom continued. "She's kind and thoughtful and sees people in ways most of us don't." Jennifer's comments say more about Jennifer's insecurities than anything about Emma. We talked for another 20 minutes about family dynamics and the ways we sometimes enable bad behavior by staying silent. About how difficult it is to confront people we love even when they're wrong. When we hung up, I felt lighter somehow, as if speaking the truth had released something I'd been carrying for too long. That Saturday, I drove Emma to Tyler's basketball tournament. Jennifer was there, sitting alone in the bleachers while Mark worked on his laptop in the parking lot. When she saw us, she waved hesitantly. I waved back but sat on the opposite side of the gym. Emma cheered loudly for Tyler, remembering the plays he'd told her about, calling out encouragement. Tyler glanced up at her repeatedly, his face brightening each time he made a good play and heard her celebrating. After the game, Tyler ran up to Emma, sweaty and grinning. "Did you see that three-pointer in the fourth quarter? That was the play I told you about." "It was perfect," Emma said enthusiastically. "Exactly how you described it." Jennifer approached slowly. "That was a good game, Tyler," she said. "Thanks, Mom," Tyler said, but his attention was still on Emma. "Are you coming to my next one too?" "If you want me there," Emma said. "Definitely." As we walked to the car, Jennifer called out, "Thank you for coming." It meant a lot to him. I nodded, acknowledging her words without committing to more. In the car, Emma said, "Do you think things will get better with Aunt Jennifer?" "I hope so," I said honestly. "But even if they don't, you know who you are. You know your worth. That's what matters." Emma smiled, looking out the window. "I'm glad you stood up for me at dinner." "Me too, sweetheart," I said. "Me too." We drove home through the autumn afternoon, the leaves beginning to turn golden, everything feeling like a new beginning. Emma hummed quietly to the radio, content in herself, no longer trying to be someone she wasn't. And I realized that was all I'd ever wanted for her. To know that being exactly who she was, quiet and kind and thoughtful, was more than enough. It was everything.